Hi, good morning. My name is Bebelina Dacos. I am here today to share with you how nonverbal cues shape love and relationships. Silent language. Power struggle in romantic relationships. Did you know that more than 60% of communication happens without words? Yes, that means right now, as I'm speaking, you are not just hearing my words, but you're watching my tone, my gestures, maybe even noticing how I breathe. Now, think about the last argument you had with your partner or your spouses, your boyfriend. Did their cross arms, tone of their voice, or the way they avoided your eyes? As they say, speak louder than anything they said. Well, those silent signals, the look, the pause, the distance, are often say more than an entire paragraph ever could. Well, today I want to uncover something that shapes the most intimate corners of our relationships, the nonverbal communication, the silent language that can build connection, trust, and love, or quietly can destroy them. Because nonverbal communication isn't just body language, it's the hidden power struggle that defines who leads, who listens, and who loves more deeply in our romantic relationships. So, why nonverbal communication matters in romantic relationships? So, what exactly do we mean by that? Nonverbal communication. It's everything we express without words. Our hands, our facial expressions, our eyes, our tone, gestures, tone of voice, or even how close we stand to someone. Everything we move, our actions say something. And here's the fascinating part in close relationships. These cues are often more honest than what we actually saying or what we say out loud. Well, you might say, I'm fine, but your body might whisper, no, I'm not. So research shows that couples who can accurately read each other's nonverbal signals are often experience a greater or satisfied relationship or more conflict when those signals get misinterpreted. In attachment theory, let's go back to your early life. So Blumenstock builds on Bowlby's attachment theory, showing that our childhood experiences shape how we read love's silent signals. If you grow up feeling secure, surrounded by love, well, you're probably a type of person, a partner or a spouse that read and emotions more accurately and can respond with empathy because you better understand their cues. But if you are anxious, on the other hand, you might overanalyze every signal, sigh or glance. And if you're avoidant, You might literally retreat, cross your arms, and pull back, or avoid eye contact altogether. There's another concept, communication accommodation theory, or CAT. It sounds technical, right? But it's pretty simple. Let's discuss about it. When partners converge, they mirror each other's gestures, tone, open arms, posture. It's a way of saying, I'm with you. But when on the opposite side, of what the research call diverse, like avoiding touch, using different tone, stepping back, there's a signaling distance or quietly negotiating power. For example, a smile can say, I'm open to you, but silence, that averted eyes can say, otherwise, I'm protecting myself. So, as Ivy and Gleason remind us, words can mask conflict, but nonverbal signals reveal it all. So, here's the first truth. Nonverbal communication exposes everything, our emotions that we try the hardest way to hide. So, what are the types of nonverbal cues in relationships? Well, let's look at these silent players in this drama of love. The ways you speak without even speaking or saying the word. Silence. Sometimes silence is a comfort. You can sit with someone, be with someone, and say nothing and still feel good about each other. Well, that's what researchers call intrinsically motivated silence. And it actually strengthens that satisfaction in the relationships. But silence can also be a punishment. So when you give your boyfriend, your spouse, your partner a silent treatment, that is an awful feeling. A wall built from words left unsaid. That's externally motivated silence, and it creates distance and resentment. With silence isn't the absence of words, but the presence of withdrawal. With facial expressions and eye contact, our faces leak the truth, even when we try to hide anger or disappointment. That tiny micro expressions flash for just a split second, revealing exactly how we feel or our emotions. And eye contact, that simple, powerful act, builds trust and signals honesty. When it disappears, it can suggest a distance or even guilt. Well, have you ever looked at someone and knew something was wrong even before they said something? Body language and posture, our posture speaks volumes. So Fine's research, she found that how we sit or stand can show dominance or submission. A partner who leans forward says, I am here, I'm listening. In contrast, a partner who turns away says, I'm done. But here's the tricky part, we often misread or misinterpret each other cues. One person's quiet might mean just peace. I don't want to argue. I don't want conflict. I just don't want to say something. I just want to be silent. While to the other, that could feel like rejection. Tone and space. With tone, what scholars call paralanguage, it changes everything. For example, I love you. That sounds can be sounds warm, but it could be sarcastic or detached, but depending on how it's said. And then there's space, what researchers call proxemics. The distance between two people says a lot about intimacy. Standing too close can feel suffocating. We all need space. We all need some, sometimes we all need to be apart. But too far, it could feel cold, you know. Healthy couples are always dancing. When they can be apart, they can be too close, you know. That's what it called dancing, adjusting this space without even realizing it. Now, let's talk about power power because love is never completely free of it. Blumenstock research shows that attachment and desire are deeply tied to nonverbal cues. Anxiously attached individuals crave closeness. They read every gesture as a sign of love or rejection, while avoidant partners prefer space, even during intimacy, and can lead to emotional detachment. Sometimes just a shift in tone, a tiny hesitation in touch can either affirm trust or spark suspicion. Deception. We often believe we can see when someone's lying to us, and sometimes we can, because nonverbal cues aren't foolproof. A spouse might read every twitch or glance as a guilt. Familiarity sharpens our sensitivity, but it also creates biases to us. We think we know what the silence means. Well, sometimes it's just silence. Groffman pointed out that nonverbal signals often reflect dominance. So, who interrupts? Who touches first? Who holds eye contact the longer? Or who looks away? Rigetti and colleagues took it further. People in power constantly face a choice to be selfish or to sacrifice, and their body reveals that choice long before they can see, they say even words, or their words too. Power in love isn't always loud. Sometimes it's in who leans in first, who stays silent longer, who forgives without ever saying anything. But here's the helpful part, though. We can learn this language. Parboil and Tejada design exercises for couples to practice awareness, mirroring tone, adjusting posture, and noticing small shifts in other's expressions. When partners tune in to those cues, conflicts soften, empathy grows, connection each other deepens. So let's not forget about the culture. Weiss, Harding, and Mornoff remind us that what feels controlling in one culture could be an opposite to another culture, to other culture. Controlling could mean caring in one culture. So in Japan, for example, silence and subtlety show respect, But in the US, for example, silence can feel uncomfortable or even suspicious. So, our nonverbal language isn't just personal, it's deeply cultural. We've covered a lot today. I think we've seen how nonverbal communication, the silent language of love, shapes how we connect, how we trust, and how we hold power in our relationships. We talk about silence, facial expressions, tone, and space, and how they can both build bridges or create walls. We saw how power, though unspoken, is constantly negotiated through these subtle cues. Well, here's some takeaways. What I want you to remember: pay attention to your posture, tone, and expressions because they tell a story even when your mouth is closed. Listen not only to words, but also to pauses, signs, and gestures. And remember, power in love is often silent, but it's never invisible. So the next time your partner says, I'm fine, don't just hear that word. Sometimes that word is lie. You have to listen to the silence between them. Look into their eyes. Really look their eyes. Because in that gaze lies a truth that words cannot carry. So nonverbal communication isn't just the background music of love, it's the rhythm that holds it together. It's the silent language of power that defines not only how we love, but how deeply we are understood. Thank you.